Welcome to the Zeducation Podcast, where it's all about helping people and organizations unleash their greatness. The Zeducation Podcast features lively discussions.
When they share it, you see that they're beginning to feel empowered.
My heart, it's full of pride for me to be at Maitai Samoa.
You don't necessarily need a degree these days. There's so many pathways to success.
Welcome to the Zeducation Podcast. Welcome to the Zeducation Podcast. If you're eager to level up in both your career and personal life, this is exactly the place where you need to be. This podcast is all about empowering you to advance by learning from those who have not only achieved success, but are also setting the gold standard. I get it. We're not just here for the awesome and inspiring stories. We want practical tips and insights that will help us move forward. Today, we're diving into the powerful life lessons that can be learned from the boxing ring. And we're thrilled to have Junior Far, a retired heavyweight boxer from New Zealand, with us. Junior is more than just a force in the ring. His journey through the ups and downs of professional boxing has armed him with the wisdom that goes far beyond the sport itself. In this episode, we'll uncover the valuable lessons that he's gained and explore how they can be applied to the challenges that we face in everyday life, helping us cultivate resilience, discipline, and mental toughness. So whether you're tackling obstacles in the boardroom or in the gym, these insights are going to be useful, so stick around. Welcome to the show, brother. How are you doing?
Very good, bro. Very good, man. Excited to be here. Excited just to catch up with you and just, talk with you, bro.
Yeah.
Very excited.
For those who don't know, me and Junior go way back. We know each other, back in the church days.
Yep.
But look, even beyond that, we've always been pretty close. And I follow this guy on social media. He is someone that definitely inspires me. You definitely don't want to mess with this guy here. But I love the professional side of things about you and also the personal things. People don't really get to see behind the scenes. You're this dad, this husband, very family oriented. Like your life, I could tell by looking at your content, it's all about family first, So we're happy to have you on the podcast, brother. Thank you again for your time. Let's start with boxing. What inspired you to get into the sport in the first place?
Boxing. So the reason why I chose to do boxing is ultimately because I didn't like rugby. So growing up, I saw two sports. So grew up in Papakura, grew up in New Zealand, and everyone plays rugby. My dad took me to rugby, and man, I just didn't like it, man. And my dad used to box back in the day in Tonga. And so I saw that at home. He would train in the garage and stuff. So I saw that. And since I didn't like rugby, I wanted to do boxing. And and that's basically how it started. I told my dad when I was 14 that I wanted to retire as a rugby player. And that I wanted to do boxing. And funny thing is that he said no first. Because of how I was growing up, I was quite a real soft kid, and I wasn't the roughest kid in town or at home at least, I used to get beat up with my sisters and stuff all the time. But then when I turned 16 and I asked him again, he said, yeah, sweet. And then just started from there. I showed talent and he kept taking me and I liked it. And then, then just the rest is history.
I love that. Your dad, it just goes to show the importance of parents and how they influence, I guess, how we grow up and what inspires us later on in life, the kind of adults that we become. And that's pretty cool. You got to watch your dad growing up, training at home, right? Yeah. That's awesome. And I guess, when did boxing started to become something very serious for you?
Pretty much straight away. I was taught by my dad that we were going to train every day, and then I just accepted it, and that's what we did. We just trained every day. Some days I wouldn't want to train, but he would come and get me, and we'll just train. Some days I'll try to hang out with my mates and stuff. It wasn't anything bad. I'll just want to go and play basketball somewhere. My dad would find me and playing basketball. Then he'll be like, Junior, get in the van, we're going to training. I was like, oh man. Yeah, bro. So like, you know, it was pretty much serious straight away, you know, and I think that's from him because he comes from that boxing background, so he knows what's needed to be successful in the sport, and he obviously saw some talent in me, and that's what we done, you know. So pretty much straight off the bat.
I love that. Dad didn't just pass on or teach you about a sport. He passed on values and ethics,
Yep.
right? The power of consistency,
Yep.
being disciplined, being focused. Like those are things that he helped you train up, not just getting into shape physically,
Yeah.
but mentally. I'm pretty keen to hear about things like discipline because you started off pretty young, like 14 or 16. Started getting into box every day with training, right?
Yep.
How important is it, especially in sport and in life, when it comes to like building discipline, and how do you do it?
I've been thinking about this lately and been thinking about my career and that and discipline and stuff. And ultimately what it came down to for me was obedience. I just listened to what my dad told me and that's what I done. That's how I really constructed my life, really, was just like, I would just seek guidance from people that were older than me, wiser than me, and they will tell me what to do, and then I'll do it, and that's how it formulated for me. That's how my life kind of played out, and that's how my life plays out. Is that if you tell me what to do, and if I think it's a good thing, and if it aligns with me as well in some kind of context, I'll do it, and that's how it formulated for me. So my dad would tell me, training every day, okay, running every day, okay, and and that's just what it was. It was discipline, but for me it was just obedience because my dad told me to do it, and so I do it. Yeah,
I love that. I mean, like you weren't. I mean, yes, as a kid, you gotta kind of do as you're told. Yeah, as a thing. But I believe underneath that all, there's a level of trust as well. Like your dad, you trusted your dad. You saw he led by example and how the training, and you went with it. You trusted the process because he's been there, he's done that, and you trusted that he knows what he's doing, and with that, gave you a bit of confidence. But I can imagine, not everybody has that. Like a father or a support person or a mentor or a coach, right? And some people are left, how do I guess, where's your advice around, just in life in general, like how do you develop something like discipline? Because discipline is about consistency, staying focused, staying committed until you achieve the goal.
for me it was just basically that. It was consistency, doing the same thing every day and trusting the process, and also accepting that I'm human and sometimes I'll mess up and I won't be as consistent as I should be, but that doesn't mean I'm just gonna stop doing what I'm doing and I'm just gonna go and do something else. No, like I fall off and I take a couple of days off training and then I just go straight back to training, and so it was obedience, it was consistency, and it was also just being kind to myself and accepting myself as a as a human, you know what I mean? Because we all have our shortcomings, and I think that's where sometimes in my career, looking back to it, I would get caught up in that, in the toxic perfection type of outlook on myself. I would see other people, I would see other athletes, I'll see Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali, and I'll be thinking to myself, man, those people train perfectly and they eat perfectly and they never skip a day of training. They do, bro, you know what I mean? And there's stories about Mike Tyson doing a lot worse stuff, and so and then so once I kind of came to grips that everyone's human and that we're not machines and we're not going to be 100% of the time, we can't be. Once I accepted that, things just became a lot easier in here, you know what I mean? Because even though I'm doing everything right out there, I am always like trying to critique all these little things about myself, and it was a real bad thing for me. You know, I played a lot of games on myself up here, and then once I accepted me as a human and just seeing everyone as humans and not some kind of perfect standard, gold standard type of like perfectionist, top shelf type of person. Once I accepted them for like, you know, as someone that's like me and that's attainable as well, but they are like perfect, then things just kind of got a bit easier.
I think one of the cool things I've learned about what you've just shared there is discipline is not about chasing perfection. And discipline is about staying focused and committed, and it's about getting better, right? Each day or each time, even if it's a small improvement.
Yeah.
Like that's what it's all about at the end of the day. And even if you achieve your goal that you set out to, after that, you've got to set another goal.
Yeah.
Right? It's just constantly, life is about improving and progressing. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the other thing I learned from that is it's not so much about the speed, but the direction that you're going
100%.
as well. Right.
Yeah.
So as long as you've got some sort of goal and also accept the reality that like, look, sometimes we're going to have a setback. We're going to fall off the wagon. We said we're going to eat, you know, I might have a cake every now and then. And I was like, oh, then I got to get back on track. I think one of the coolest things I've learned, and I had Jessica from OTB Health here on a podcast. I think one of her mantras is don't let it happen twice. So if you eat cake here, it's like, okay, just don't let it happen again, go back. So it's just a little reminder and helps us to embrace that we're human, like you said, and we make mistakes, we fall off the wagon, but that's okay. We get back on, we stay focused. And it's about enjoying life as well, eh? It's also about enduring as well.
Yes.
So I'm pretty keen to hear more around like when we do have setbacks, and I can imagine in professional boxing, you have to deal with some of the losses. You don't always win all the fights. And I can imagine when you don't win, it can be very tough mentally and emotionally, especially when you've spent all this time and emotion, blood, sweat, and tears towards trying to win or achieve a goal. What's some advice around dealing with setbacks in life?
For me, it's surrounding yourself with people that are on that goal. You know, surround yourself with that. Something that I felt, something that I found hard to deal with was the losses that I dealt with as an amateur. You know what I mean? Because when you come into professional boxing, when you've got an extensive amateur career, and experience around that, nothing is new in the professional realm, you know what I mean? And so, like, you know, I've dealt with losses in the professional realm, but I've dealt with losses in the amateur realm too. And dealing with it in the amateur sense was like the first time that kind of happened, you know what I mean? And so that is where it built. I remember the first time I lost like 3 fights in a row. That was hard, man. That was hard. When I look back to it, they weren't winnable fights for me. I was facing Usyk, who was the like best fighter in the world right now. I fought him in 2012. I lost to him, and then I fought the silver medalist of the Olympics, so the one that Usyk beat in the Olympics, and I lost to him as well. I was supposed to lose those fights, like, you know, thinking back to it, but at that stage, man, like at that stage as an amateur, as a young eager fighter, I wasn't losing anything, you know what I mean? And so when I first had to come to, you know, when I first had to come to the realization that, you know, that, hey, man, you know, you're just going to lose sometimes and you're going to lose again. And like, that was hard. And so what I remember, because I was in Italy when I had my second loss in a row, I was really down on myself, but it was good because I was there with the whole team. So at that stage, I was fighting for a boxing team called the British Lionhearts, and I was staying in England, and we were in Italy fighting the Italian boxing team, and I lost my fight. I think a few of us lost those fights that night, but we were all with each other, you know what I mean? So it kind of it's good to know that you're not alone, And straight after the fights, we're going back home to England and we're just getting straight back into training. And that's just how it is, Life moves on no matter what, man. It's not the end of the world, man. It's just the end of that day, and then just life carries on as normal, man. You know what I mean? No one cares as much as you think. It's not that big of a deal. It's not the end of the world. And I think, and that was me at that time, just kind of building that resilience up. I must have been like 22. Yeah, 22. Yeah, 22 at that time, and so things were very fresh. Things were very new. I was like, what a loss. I was like, what? Loss again? I was like, what the heck is this? And yeah, man. But yeah, it's just being around like-minded people who are on that same mission, on like trying to better themselves in the same sport. So that was great for me. But it was good that we all had each other. We lost? Dang, that sucks. All right, back to training.
Yeah.
Train up, we go again.
Yeah. And I love that. I mean, I like that you've painted the picture that, these losses, life goes on, but we look at these losses as like learning lessons, like cool. Why did I lose that fight? What can I do differently? Or how can I improve from here? And that's what the question in the game should be all about each time, after every match, even after you win. Even if you win a fight, it's like, how do I improve? How do I keep growing? How do I keep getting better? And I love that. But the key thing that I love what you said there, Junior, is surrounding ourselves with that good support, people who are going to have our back even if we win or even if we lose. Like, they just love us, they care about us, and they just want the best for us. That's what it's all about, right?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Tell us about the support that you get from home, because I know you and I know your wife, and she's been there with you every step of the way of the journey, and she's played a big role in supporting you, and I bet she's like the number one fan as well. Tell us about how important it is to have that relationship and at home with the wife and also with the children, and how that helps you in your professional life.
Nothing's possible without her, man. I'm not able to even go to training without her. I can't do anything without her. And so it's cool because we met when I was like at the top of my amateur career. Oh wait, no, I think I was just starting out my climb with the amateur career, because we met in 2008. So by the time I was like traveling a lot and going into professional boxing and stuff, and she understood what the deal was, you know what I mean? This is my career. I'm going to be traveling. I'm going to be away from home. I'm going to be training a lot. I'm going to be drained when I come back home. It's a very selfish thing, being in the sport. But I think being in sport itself is very, very selfish. It's a lot of you time, and it's a lot of time away from the family. It's a lot of time away from, it's a lot of time for one parent to just be both parents at home. And, looking back at it, I'm just like, man, nothing was possible without her. And so I'm thankful for her for what she had to sacrifice, because she had dreams and ambitions and stuff, and she couldn't really continue that because I was pursuing my stuff. And so, it's quite a hard pill to swallow when I look back at it, but it is what it is. And I trust her, and I'm thankful that she trusted me, and we got what we got, and and we came out successful in some sense. And so, so the relationship, it was. Yeah, it was great. It was hard because of what was demanded from me. Had to be there. So the wife had to stay home. But yeah, we just make it work. And it's great right now because I kind of had to. I was hit with reality when I first retired because I'm used to me taking priority. And so, like, if something popped up for me in my boxing days, like, she would just have to, pick up the pieces at home and just make it work. And so one night I had jiu-jitsu training and she had something else. And then, like, I was like, oh, well, like, too bad. I got to go to training. And then she was just like, no. You're you're a retired boxer now. Jiu-jitsu was just a hobby for you. And then so I'm just like, oh, yeah, that's right. I was just like, oh, man, I can't do anything anymore. I was just like, oh, dang it. Yeah, man. So that was like, that was a reality check to kind of see, like, the privilege I had before, because everything was like, yeah, it kind of was like everything revolved around me, She just had to make it work. And now getting hit with that reality, I'm just like, oh, man, okay, very, very selfish of me. But I think in terms of success, like, that's got to happen, man. That's got to happen. Sacrifices are going to be made. It's going to suck. But I think if both parties are aligned with the vision, then it can work. Mm-hmm. But it's good to understand the privilege that that the pursuer has. And I was the one pursuing my dreams, and I didn't really realize the privilege that I had before. Coming, like, now I could definitely see it. I think it's great that the sports people, or just even, like, the ones that are just pursuing their dreams and in any field, will know that they are being somewhat selfish. Like I say selfish, but it's not like selfish in like a bad sense. I know you're doing it to, like, feed the family and just to provide more things for them as well. But but it's I think for me, if I understood better what I was doing, I would have been a lot more grateful at that time.
Yeah. Well, there's I think there's a lot of good things to take away from that experience. And you are right, that support at home, the relationship that you have with the wife is so important. And, she helps look after things at home, and then it enables you to focus. But at the end of the day, you're working together as a team. And at the end of the day, it's coming back to supporting the family. And I can see why, and it was cool to have that support as well. I mean, it's similar to me and my wife, Sandra, as well. I mean, like, when we first got married, I was the breadwinner. So, I had to go out and work, and she was at home with the kids. And then now we've both got businesses. There's three of us. I mean, and so it's like, hey, I got to do this. Oh, but I got to do this too. So there's just like a jigsaw puzzle. But what's helped us is, like, every week we say on Sunday, we sit down, we open up our laptops, and we do our planning together.
Yeah.
Right. So that way it's a bit fair and equal. Yeah. I do the school pickups every day. She helps get the kids ready for school. We just work like that.
Yeah.
But that's so important to be able to manage the things at home and manage our share calendar. But it's important for us to manage the things at home and manage our calendars together so that we could win in every aspect of our life, especially professional way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I understand. I definitely need to do that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, I'll be the first one to admit it's taken me a long time. I've taken the long way and the hard way to figure that one out. But I'm not by any means saying that I'm perfect at it, but I am learning. Okay. Well, look, brother, I'm pretty keen to hear, because I know there's a lot of lessons that we can still learn from the ring. What would you say would be the top 2 things that boxing has taught you that is helping you in your life? Because I can say one of the things I've seen is how you're taking that discipline and applying it in, like, you're going to the gym. Like, you're working on yourself. I follow you on YouTube, and you've got these videos with your 6-week challenge. I don't know what week we're in at the moment, but the discipline and the consistency in looking after your health is not just about, before it was about professional and champions, world stage, trophies and all that, the belts. But now it's about self-care and improving yourself so that you could be a better father, better husband, just be happier as a person. So what are some other things that you've learned in the ring that's helped you in your personal life?
Everything, man. Everything that I got from boxing. I think the number one thing I got was confidence. I became confident through boxing. I was a very shy kid, man. Very, very shy when I was younger. I've got a stutter as well. And so being in like the spotlight of boxing kind of forces you to, sort out your speech and sort your words out and be confident on camera and not be shy and be shirtless in front of the world and be prepared to, win or lose or whatever, And so confidence was a big thing, especially when I was a teenager, when I first started boxing and when I would roam around in my teenage years and stuff. I just had a confidence that I knew that I was okay, because when you're young, you just think that everyone's out to get you and like stuff like that. And so me having that on my back pocket, I knew that I was okay. But then that carried on in my adult life. Not the sense of me knowing that I know how to protect myself, but the sense that I know that we're all doing the same thing, We're all just people giving it our best shot. No one really knows what they're doing, you know what I mean? Everyone's just giving it their best go. And that's what I kind of got through boxing because of the people that I met and through the heights that I reached. And then I was sparring with Anthony Joshua. I was with Deontay Wilder, and they're all the same. They're all just like me. We're all just giving it a go. And once I found that out, when I go and meet like other people, like CEOs and stuff, and great minds and stuff, I understand that they're like me, and we're all the same. And I learned that through boxing. I think another thing I got was also just as we said before, just everything around consistency and resilience. Those two things. It's just a great thing to have in life, being able to set a goal, or goal setting as well, set a goal and just work towards that goal and like achieving that goal. And I got that through boxing, just training every day, turning up every day, and just working on the same thing every day. Boxing's a very, very limited sport. There's only so many punches you can learn. There's there's the straights, there's the hooks, and there's the uppercuts. That's it. And you learn that within like the first year of boxing. And I've been boxing for like almost 20 years. And so it's very, very, very repetitive. It's so boring. But you learn to just just fall in love with the journey and fall in love with perfecting all these things that you kind of know already. Like I know, how to jab, and then you just got to learn different ways how to jab in different areas to jab here and there, blah, blah, blah. But ultimately, it's the same thing. It's boring. But you just learn to just kind of go with it. And you just keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it.
Life is too short, and you want to make sure that with that one life that you have, that you're doing something that you're passionate about. And even though you've done 20 years of professional boxing, it wasn't a waste. Like there was a lot of good stuff, like you talked about resilience, consistency, confidence, and I feel like not everyone will be a boxer. Some people might dream about it and might be passionate about the sport. But, even for myself, like just going to the gym, I mean, I'm not a bodybuilder or anything, but just going to the gym, exercising, and I've been doing that consistently, that's given me a bit of confidence as well, especially in my work and that, like when I put on a shirt or something like that, I feel a little bit nicer. I mean, I could be better. I mean, I don't have six-pack abs yet, but hey, I'm going to work towards that. But no, I'll be honest. I mean, like when I go into like boardroom meetings and stuff like that, and I'm meeting with clients, I feel pretty good.
Yeah.
Because look, I worked hard and, to try my best to stay in shape.
Yeah.
But I think that's a really good lesson there. And, thank you so much, brother, for just being so generous with your time and sharing your experience, being vulnerable, being open. Like you said, it's not easy putting yourself out there as a boxer. The world sees you. You got your shirt off. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. and you've got people who are judging you, watching you and all of this, but you still keep doing it. And I just want to let you know, like, you being those 20 years, you've had a lot of people, including myself, who've looked up to you and have found you very inspirational. And even as a retired boxer, I'm still cheering for you, you know?
Wow.
So thank you so much. If there's one big key takeaway that you would want our listeners to take from our conversation today, what would that be?
I think one thing, especially like these days, just like what's helped me after boxing is just knowing yourself and being confident with that. I got the confidence from the ring, and so I'm very confident being myself now. And I think that is ultimately what I want for people, is just for them to be their authentic self. Things in your life will line up, you know. Things will happen. Things will happen for you, no matter what. If you just put out who you are, like how I am, the right people will find you. You know, the right people will find you. Things will happen for you. Have that confidence to just put yourself out there, not the version that you think other people are looking for. Put yourself out there and stuff. And like for me, I like things will happen, man. Things will happen. Like the right things will happen for you because you're out there, not this image that you want to be out there. No, you are out there, and so the right thing for you will happen. That's what I ultimately think will lead to a person living a more fulfilled, passionate life.
I love it. That's some great final advice there from Junior Fa. Just be yourself. Love yourself. Don't try and force yourself to be someone that you're not or what other people want you to be. Just be you. And being you, staying true to yourself, you're going to feel a little bit more authentic. When you feel more authentic and true, you're more confident, right? And you're just going to attract those opportunities and attract those people who accept you for who you are. So thank you so much, Junior Fa, for your time and spending time with us. Thank you very much, brother.
Thank you, Var.